everyone, it's Ashley with Clarity Nutrition here, and I just wanted to take today to talk about a topic that I am super passionate about, and it's just the question of, do visible abs equal health? And we oftentimes scroll through social media and are led to believe this truth that visible abs do equal health. Specifically in the CrossFit space, we see athletes like Tia Toomey, the Catcher David's daughters, the Rich Fronings, and we see these ripped physiques. And we assume that in order to be healthy or to be fit ourselves, we have to look like them, we have to eat like them, we have to train like them. And I just feel like this is a huge misconception that needs to be addressed. And I also want to normalize the fact that visible abs do not equal health. And just because someone is extremely lean or extremely ripped, it does not mean that they're healthy. And full disclaimer, I love CrossFit. I'm a CrossFit coach. That is my full-time job. And I have an extreme appreciation for CrossFit Games athletes and everything that they do. They are the top 1% of the sport. And what they do seems almost unhumanly possible at times. And for the most part, I think that these athletes are advocates for the sport and can be extremely inspirational for a lot of the general population. However, again, I do feel like it's important to understand that they are the top 1% of the sport. And if what they're doing is considered healthy, then the other 99% of us have a lot of work to do in order to be healthy. So I know some of you might think that I'm crazy and might be saying, yes, Ashley, but these athletes are the pinnacle of health. They're the fittest on earth, whatever, you're crazy. And my point is, yes, that these athletes are the fittest on earth. They are super fit, rightfully so, but are they considered healthy? Not really, in my opinion. So just to be clear, this video and this information is not meant to steer you away from CrossFit or the methodology, but only meant to show you that you don't have to eat like, train like, look like a CrossFit Games athlete to be healthy. So just bear with me. So, few points to note for the everyday CrossFitter. Number one, you do not have to look like a CrossFit Games athlete in order to be healthy. So as I pointed out previously, visible abs do not always equal health. And I myself have struggled with this truth at times because we do see these ripped CrossFit Games athletes all over social media, and we assume, oh, I need to eat like them and train like them in order to look like them and have the abs. But there are multiple things wrong with this conclusion. And first of all, a set of macros, calories, or a way of eating is specific to one person, no one else. So everyone is different and requires a different number of calories, a different number of macros, micronutrients, whatever. And what kind of diet or calories or whatever works for one person is not going to work for another person. There's not a one size fits all method to nutrition. And you should never look at an athlete's, an influencer's, whoever's full day of eating video on YouTube or on their Instagram and just assume that you're supposed to eat that many calories. You're supposed to follow their set of macros because they look like that and they perform like that, because it's not going to work for you. So it's also important to note that most of these athletes are working one-on-one with a nutrition coach, and that coach is monitoring their intake, their performance, their biofeedback, everything, all factors of their life, and they can adjust the plan for them based on their biofeedback, their adherence, and their performance. And most of these athletes are fueling themselves properly and fueling for performance, which leads me to my next point. They're not training for aesthetics. They're not training to look that way. The reason they look that way is just a product of their training and their lifestyle. And they are not staying that lean year round, because it is impossible to look that lean and maintain positive health markers all year round. So point number 2, you do not have to train 5 hours a day to be healthy. And again, my first year into CrossFit, I struggled with this truth. I thought that if I wanted to be fit and look like a CrossFit Games athlete, I had to train 5 to 6 hours a day, and I was restricting certain foods. But I learned quickly that more doesn't necessarily mean better in terms of training, nor does it necessarily mean fitter or healthier. So I was overtraining, I was under eating, and I was not getting enough sleep to support the amount of stress that I was putting my body under. And yeah, I got super lean, the leanest that I've ever been. I could look in the mirror and see the abs, and yes, I loved being able to look in the mirror and see those abs. But was I healthy? No. Did I feel like crap all of the time? Yeah. I lost my period. I had no sex drive. I could not get a full night's sleep. I was waking up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or just tossing and turning. And not to mention, I had a super bad relationship with food. I wasn't going out with people and eating out because I didn't know how many calories or how many macros were in each meal. And I was telling myself, you cannot eat that because it's going to make you lose your abs and decrease your performance in the gym tomorrow. And what I didn't realize is that, well, 1, this is no way to live. And 2, every aspect of these CrossFit Games athletes' lives are controlled, and their whole life revolves around their training and performance, meaning not only are they eating for performance, but they're sleeping 9+ hours a night. They're mobilizing and recovering multiple hours a day so that they can train the 4, 5, 6 hours a day, but there's no balance. And I don't know about any of you guys, but I don't know of too many people that have the time to dedicate all of this energy and time into training, recovering, eating, sleeping, and still have a social life, have a job, have a family. And it's just important to know that these athletes, although some of them do have a job and a family and a life outside of CrossFit, most of them don't. And they don't have balance in their lives, which is what makes them the top 1% of the sport and makes them be able to do those top 1% things that we love watching and awing over. But what I'm saying is that unless you're able to put the hours and hours that go into not only training and every single minute detail, do not get caught up in what these athletes are doing or what they look like. Another important thing to note is that because these athletes are training so much, they are dealing with some sort of injury year round, whether it's just a small ache or pain that leads to a bigger injury, or it's just a little tweak here and there, something that they can recover from. But this is with the hours and hours of mobility, stretching, recovering that they do on a daily basis, and the hours of body work, massage therapy, chirotherapy, acupuncture, everything that they get on a week-to-week basis. So just to be clear, although these athletes appear to be super healthy on the outside, there's not enough research to show that they will be able to sustain this level of fitness or health going into their later years. And in fact, this kind of lifestyle is just not sustainable long term. No one is going to be able to be the top 1% for their whole life. And we can see this by examining the athletes who have retired and gotten out of the competition scene because they don't stay ripped. You cannot see their abs anymore, but does that make them not healthy? Like, are they unhealthy because you can't see their abs anymore? And I would personally argue that they might not be as fit as before, but they are healthier after they stop competing at the elite level. So again, I know that CrossFit Games athletes are fit, but are they healthy? Again, I don't really think so. And to be honest, health is very relative in certain parameters anyway, because what looks healthy for me might not be what looks healthy for you. What's healthy for me might be going on 30-minute walks every day, getting in protein and vegetables at every meal, and then resistance training 4 days a week. But what's healthy for you might be a set of flexible macros and CrossFit training 5 days a week. And it honestly all depends on you and your goals, which I know you hear us say it depends a lot, but it could not be more true. So just to wrap things up, I just want to normalize the fact that everybody's body is beautiful, no matter what shape, size you are. And it's important not to get wrapped up in the images and the personas that we see on social media by any athlete, CrossFit Games athlete or not, influencer, anyone else's page. Because what makes people healthy is not the 5 to 6 hours a day of training. It's not the visible abs. It's honestly the simple things like walking, getting in some resistance training every week, eating whole unprocessed foods, prioritizing fruits, vegetables, and protein, and sleeping 8 to 9 hours every night to minimize stress. So the bottom line is, do not follow a set of macros, calories, diet, just because you see someone else doing it, whether they're a CrossFit Games athlete or not. And I know not everyone is going to make it to the CrossFit Games, but I believe that we can all put forth the time and effort to implement basic daily habits and routines into our lives to be the healthiest versions of ourselves that we can be. And just know you are special, your body is special, and it deserves to be treated like so. So if you do need any guidance on what health and fitness may look like for you, you can always apply to work with one of the Clarity coaches, or find another coach that you know and trust to make sure that you are fueling your body properly and you believe that you are special. Thank you all for listening. I really appreciate it, and I hope that you got something out of this. Have a great day, y'all.